I'm ready to smash and burn.
No border. I am going to be uncomfortable and all over you from start to finish.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Outside of the Box. And I am very excited because I've wanted to have this team on for a while, but we get a big group interview here with Team Honeycracked. So everybody, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Thank you.
So anybody that watches NHRL or has been for any extended period of time, I'm sure everyone knows who Zoe Lambert is. But just to make sure, in case you don't know, I want to have everyone just go around and introduce yourselves, and we can start talking about robots.
So I'm Zoe Lambert, and I am the captain of Team Honeycracked. And I have the burger robot that is probably the one people are most familiar with.
I'm Michael Daly. My robot is not built yet, but it will be Beefcake. Competing in this competition. My name is Carlton. I build 3-pound robots. Chicken Nugget Machine was my first one, and then Staying Alive, which I haven't built yet.
I'm Liam. I am the builder of a 3-pound robot named the Bee's Knees and a 12-pound robot, Buzzkill, right here.
I am Cody Graham. I'm another mentor of the team, and this is my robot Swagmore, and I'm also the builder of Flightless.
I am Dominic. I am builder of the 3-pound robot Hive Smashing. I competed last year and will be competing in the June event this year.
Awesome. Now I have to ask, and I'm sure that, this has been answered in some other interview, but just in case people don't know the team and don't know the story, why bees?
I think, honestly, the bee theme is beyond any of us. It started way before I joined the team because we started with just an FRC team, which is First Robotics Competition, back in 2001,
Yeah.
I believe. And I didn't join the team until 2013. So all of our growingSTEMS teams try to be bee themed. So our FRC team is the Robo Bees, and then we have middle school teams that are for First Tech Challenge, which are the pollinators, the stingers, and the swarm. And then we also have Vex IQ teams, which I don't actually know what their team names are. I think
They're just Robo Bees 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, they're bee teams still, but they're just the Robo Bees, and then they have numbers added to the end of them. But it definitely fits our team well, and we like to play into it. Some of us play into it a little bit better than others, but we just recently, I started kind of branching away from the bee themed robots, but my first one was Busy Bee, and then the burger is Bugsbee. So then you have Buzzkill, but this year we actually have Swagmore and Aerostar and Staying Alive.
Hey, I will say Staying Alive is a bee robot because of the Bee Gees. So
That's what he's saying.
I'll stand corrected.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't think anybody would understand it, but you proved me wrong.
Nobody needs to battle me on music trivia, so I know what I'm talking about there. No, that's really awesome. And I also kind of wanted to learn a little bit more about growingSTEMS because it seems like such a great thing, and again, something people may not know about. So kind of just talk more about that program in general.
So growingSTEMS is a nonprofit organization that hosts all of our robotics teams. So we have programs for 3rd through, I guess, college now. Before it used to be 3rd through 12th grade with our education-based robotics programs, the FRC, FTC, and the VEX IQ teams. And then I believe we also have VEX-Go that is not really like a competition, but more so just getting kids involved in robotics. And then when we introduced the combat team in 2021, it allowed us to start hosting college students too. So now we have a whole lineup of programs and really can foster the STEM mindset that is really popular right now. But we're hoping that we, as mentors, inspire students to not only be interested in robotics and see the potential behind it, but see the potential behind themselves too and what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I love robotics because it's the perfect area where you can still be creative and also do something that's super technical. And I love that. Now, speaking of the robots, I want to get into it. I'm going to go through and ask each of you about your robots to talk more about that. So I'm actually going to start with Dominic and talk about Hive Smashing, since that's going to be in the June event. So tell me about it.
All right, so Hive Smashing is a horizontal 3-pound robot. Whenever I was designing it, I was looking to design a basic 3-pound robot, kind of something to learn off of, just kind of start it off. And right designing, talking with mentors, ended up coming with this robot. Went to the July event. I learned a lot from it, figured out how I could improve upon it. I designed a new weapon for the next event, the September event last year. I'm still looking to improve on it. I don't really know what all I'm going to be doing for it for this event. Just trying to see, what all can be fixed upon it to see how to make it better.
Yeah, that's great. It's always a learning process, and I think that is what's amazing about NHRL having such frequent events, because you go to one, you learn something, you can always come back in a couple of months and learn a little bit more. Now we'll switch over to Cody. And you mentioned Swagmore and Flightless, so let's talk about them.
So in the past, I've come to NHRL with Flightless, one of my first combat robots that I've made. It's a BristleBot. I don't have it here at the moment, but I had a 3-pound and a 12-pound version that both worked, but were very slow. So I'm working on that in the background to make it a little faster. I have had limited success with lower weight robots, and I'm just trying to see how I can scale it to the heavier classes before I bring it back to NHRL. So in the meantime, I have Swagmore. So its name came from kind of a joke, I guess, in a Discord server where I got named Swagmore. But the robot was actually designed by Zoe originally. While I was helping out with the FRC team, she designed the robot that I could bring to the May event. So I went to NHRL this past May with Swagmore, and it did pretty well. I'm actually really happy with it. And I have lots of little things that I want to improve upon it to make it easier to work on and maybe last a little bit longer. But overall, I really didn't have many issues with it. I ended up losing to Carmen in the end after I got stuck in the corner of the field and on top of the wood a couple of times. But the robot still was working. I just couldn't get unstuck. And I'll be bringing this back at our event in June.
Awesome. Very cool. So, Liam, you also have 2 robots. You had, mentioned Bee's Knees and of course Buzzkill, which has done pretty well, I would say. So let's talk about those.
So I guess my whole journey of these robots started with the Bee's Knees. So the Bee's Knees, I really wanted to make an undercutter just because I thought they were cool and complicated, and I really liked like the other undercutters like Silent Spring. I'm like, they're pretty cool. So I wanted to build an undercutter, and I ended up doing it for the 3 pound because this was my first like proper robot, like a lone robot at NHRL, because I previously competed as I built the mini bot for Busy Bee, but like I wanted to build like an actual proper robot. So I built it, and it did really well in its fights, I'd say. In its first event we were still working out the kinks of like we had all gotten these new radio transmitters and these receivers, and we were having some issues with them connecting. So I lost a few matches because of that, which was upsetting. But overall, like the design was pretty good. And the thing that about this robot that we were seeing with a lot of 3 pounds is like almost the entire thing is like an entire chassis printed out of TPU. So I guess that kind of leads into the journey of been making Buzzkill, because I think well, we kind of wanted to do more 12 pounds, I think, the 12-pound robots, but we didn't really know if like printing like a large portion of the robot out of TPU would like be okay in the 12-pound bracket, because it seems to be pretty good in the 3 pound, but we're like, what about the 12-pound? Because if we could do that, then we could make lots of robots in the 12 pounds. So that's kind of like how it started. So basically for the most part, it has a frame of AR in the basically reinforcing the entire thing. But besides that, like the front armor is just an entire TPU just billet sandwiched in between two aluminum plates, and the back and everything is all TPU. The bottom is all TPU. So and it held up really well. I think I went 3-2 at November, and then I went 2-2 at the finals, and then I went 3-2 at this past event.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it ended up losing to Maximizer. So, yeah, it's held up really well. Just getting some of the smaller kinks out of the robot right now. Like I'm gonna put cleats on it. That'll help out a lot. But besides that, I'm really happy with the robot. Yeah.
Yeah. Buzzkill is actually the inspiration behind almost all of the robots like right here, because I didn't have a ton of confidence in 3D printing robot chassis. And so I saw that Liam decided to go with that for the for his little robot, and I basically was like, hey, make that big for me and tell me how that goes. And so he did that, and then I was like, oh, it holds up really well. And so Swagmore actually is all TPU except for 2 UHMW pieces, and then it has an aluminum top and bottom plate. But then you go from that to the fries and apple pie and the Maddies, and they're all 3D printed, and they're I think a fully put together fries is like 7 or 8 pounds. So it really inspired and pushed for us to just trust TPU and its magic.
It just works.
It just works. It makes it so much easier to design robots too.
That is certainly what I've heard. So yeah, that's great that you were able to figure that out and kind of go down that path. Now, Carlton, I know you said that you're still working on staying alive, but tell me about. I need to know.
Oh, it's very similar to Liam's robot. I'm actually using
similar weapon
weapon design. So I'm actually going to use the same weapon, but I'm going to use it as a vertical weapon. So it's going to have a very big and very large weapon this year. And I'm going to use a lot of 3D printing too. A lot of TPU.
Awesome. That is very cool. And then Michael, I know that you're not going to be in the June event, but I would love to hear about your robot and what you're working on.
So last year I had a robot in the 3-pound division that competed in one of the events, I don't remember which. And due to like time crunches and just general issues. I ended up building a significant portion of it at the competition, which was not a recipe for success, and just a lot of the design was not very well thought out, and just it was not good. So the general like sketchboard design is going to be the same, of a 2-wheel overhead horizontal, but the whole materials and construction and just like stuff like that is going to be pretty much completely overhauled. I need to put a lot more resources into weapon and a lot less into armor and like cable organization and just a lot of things, better motor mounts and pulleys and stuff like that. So hopefully it will be better this year.
Awesome. Well, definitely looking forward to that one. And then yeah, I'm gonna keep making you guys move that little microphone around, but Zoe, so let's talk about Happy Meal. As soon as I saw the name, I was like, I don't even know what this looks like or what it is. I just know that I am excited for this. And I've already heard a little bit about it, but please tell me more.
All right, so Happy Meal is a collaboration between Team Defective, Utter Destruction, and Team Honeycracked. So, well, Utter Destruction is bringing obviously a milk-themed robot. So, they have Milkshake that they're going to be bringing. So then we were like, all right, we already have the burger because I have the burger robot, and then we were like, well, what pairs well with that? And we got fries. So it originally was just going to be those 3 robots. But then we built a fully like complete fries, realized it was not 12 pounds. And we're like, okay, we have enough weight to where we could bring in another robot. So we basically duplicated fries in a different color and named it Apple Pie. And the fun thing about it is that fries is forks. It has little forks that stick out of it. I don't have them on here right now, but so it looks like fries coming out of the fry box or whatever you want to think about that. And then this will have a wedge on it instead, and I'm going to paint the wedge to look like pie crust. So it's green for apple. I know it doesn't really like, I really hope people aren't eating like neon green pies, but it's green for apple, and then the wedge is going to be the pie crust. And then we have the burger, obviously. And so I'm going to be driving the burger. Matt Luther from Team Defective is going to be driving fries. One of the other mentors from Honeycracked will be driving apple pie. So JP, he's not here right now, but he actually lives a couple of hours away, and he remotes into our meetings. And then he comes down on the weekend sometimes. So like he'll be here tomorrow to help work on apple pie a little bit and some of the other robots. And he'll be driving apple pie. So there'll be 4 of us down there. We may incorporate another robot because we have like 3 pounds to work with right now. Which may be this little one down here, which is a tiny 3-pound flipper robot that so far in our testing can lift like 40 pounds. So it's not, or I guess it's not really a flipper robot, it's a lifter robot, but it can lift 40 pounds and it can kind of be a little bit of a bully. So I'm very excited about it. And I just love that most of these robots are just like completely 3D printed. And it's so easy just to have a whole bunch of them printed out. And they can really take a hit because, you know, they just flex or they cut. They don't get like too much shock in them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that smaller bot was the right color, it might be able to be a chicken nugget. So that's all I'm saying.
Oh man. I don't know. The only chicken nugget colored filaments I've seen kind of look a little disturbing because they're like skin colored. I don't think I want to go with that. It sounds like a cursed robot to me.
That does sound like a cursed robot. Absolutely.
We were thinking about calling it like the toy of the Happy Meal. just because you know, every good Happy Meal has a toy included.
It certainly does.
I mean, we could at least throw in an RC car or something just to have a toy in there.
Yes, this is a very fun idea. I fully support this. I'm very excited to see it. Now, speaking of crazy robot ideas, my new fun question that I'm asking whenever I have the Norwalk teams on is to ask, like, if you had an unlimited amount of money and unlimited amount of resources and you could build any robot that you wanted to, what would you build? So I'm going to go around and ask everyone what that would be. So unlimited money and resources, so this could be any size robot, whatever you want to do. So I'll just kind of start back at the beginning and go with Dominic first.
All right. So I feel like an interesting robot with the unlimited money resources would probably be like a dual vertical robot that moves, off of the weapons, like, unconventional movement. It'd be an interesting thing to design. I don't exactly know how it would work, but I feel like it'd just be an interesting robot.
That certainly could be. Cody?
So Liam and I have been doing a lot of discussion, and he's been doing a lot of CAD work lately to try and get swerve modules into the combat field. So if I had unlimited resources, I think I would want to go towards a slightly higher weight class, maybe like 30 pounds, and try a swerve-based hammer saw, actually. Not put any effort into hammer saws yet, but that's been one that's been on my mind recently.
Yeah, we're working on Swerve just because it's like we know it's incredibly complicated, and there's so many like parts that have to work together, both mechanically and the software side. That's probably why not many people have done it. Of course, there's Shifty, but I can't really think of another example. But we're trying to we're looking into making it actually happen, just because on our FRC team, Swerve is the meta, because on FRC it's all about like scoring points and stuff like that, and there's not this need to be as robust. So all these robots have Swerve, and they just like float around, and it would be so good to have, but there's just so many parts. And then the other reason that we would really want Swerve, as I guess this is like would be like our phase 2, but we have to actually get the Swerve first, is we can also incorporate a lot of software and vision into the robot. Cody's done a great deal of looking into how can we make a robot that has vision. I guess the current theory is like the camera from above.
So we're having a couple of different ideas.
Yeah, we have a couple. That's the one.
NHRL the overhead cameras in the NHRL cage are, I guess, the leading theory right now.
Yeah, because the thing with Swerve is it's holonomic, which means it can strafe, it can drive and rotate independently. So with that, if you have a camera and your robot knows its which direction it's facing, then you can do so much in the software. Not like on like smaller scale stuff, like in terms of like driver aids. Like there's this thing called field oriented control, where normally on a normal robot, if you push forward on the sticks, the robot goes forward. You pull backwards, it goes backwards. But on a Swerve robot, and what many teams do on like FRC is, imagine this is a Swerve robot. If I hold forward, the robot will go this way. It doesn't matter which way it's facing. Forward is always the direction that is away from you. So basically that means that no matter which way the robot's facing, you could just instantly tell it which direction to go. So we see the possibilities, and we're looking into it. I don't mean to ramble on for too long.
My favorite driver aid that could come from the computer vision and the aspect of robotics is help me keep my weapon pointed at the opponent so I don't have to do it.
was just about to say, I feel like that's something that'd be really useful.
Oh yeah, like you could eventually work it up to like a fully autonomous robot, like
Let's say,
like-
you know,
or at least like a robot where you just like have like a few button inputs that like generally tell it what to do, like a rotate, like just orbit them and then eventually tell them, okay, now attack or something like that. But that's like very, very, very far.
You can tell we come from FRC and other robotics programs with our ambitions.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We are well aware of the difficulties involved, which is why we're definitely not bringing this to June, sadly. But we do hope to get something going during this season that we could at least bring to test out in the test cages or maybe in a grudge match at some point.
Yeah, it's definitely a long-term project, but I think will pay off eventually in the future.
Hey, sometimes it takes a while, and then it's definitely worth all of the time and effort put in. So yeah, we'll see. Carlton.
Well, I would probably do something similar to Cody and Liam with like the swerve, but like with a Lynx style weapon, honestly, but having a longer body. That way it can help take the hits and the blows from other robots easier. And I think that'd be pretty much it.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of a complex design, but
I'm surprised none of you have said a 250 yet.
Oh yeah, 250 swerve would be awesome.
yeah, 250 swerve.
now, if we just take all of Team Honeycracked and BattleBots, right?
Yeah.
The giant swerve robot.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
250 swerve Lynx BattleBots.
I don't know. I like the hammer saw idea better because the big issue is the gyro. But the thing with swerve is so maneuverable that like it basically means that you could like strafe to the side and pin them against the wall and then get the hammer saw. And because you only really need to run the hammer saw when you're attacking, you don't have to deal with the gyro.
Saw on a turret.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and then we're gonna put the hammer saw on a turret.
History with turrets as well, so that's
Helios
Let's just
background.
turn combat into FRC.
Yeah.
We basically are this.
Maybe create Helios BattleBot.
Except the robots expand.
It's only 120 pounds.
Oh yeah, so I guess just for some explanation, in our previous this season that just ended with FRC, the three of these guys are all on our FRC team, and the season just ended. I think that's in frame.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah. So that's their FRC robot that they just finished. It's called Helios. It's FRC robots are around, so they have bumpers and their battery, and in order to meet weight, they have to be 125 pounds or less. So that's just kind of like a scale. So around half the weight of a BattleBot. And basically, in order to play the game, it has this giant arm that it can reach out and is also on a turret. So if I guess some of the things seem a bit ambitious, a lot of us are used to this kind of stuff. So it's lots of beyond, I don't know.
Yeah, when they're talking about a turret with swerve and other motions, they've literally already built a robot that has swerve and a turret and
Envision.
other motions, and it just adds some armor to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, a design that I've been interested in doing in the past and might try to do next year or sometime after that would be a helichopper style robot, if you're familiar, some kind of cable hammers. I think it would just be a very interesting design with like some potential for varying tip speed and just crazy power and moment of inertia. So if I could get that working, that would be a fun future project.
But would it have swerve?
That's
Upper
definitely
head, Omni
one for
wheels.
after we get our bigger test box.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Zoe?
Honestly, I'm really on this whole TPU printing robots thing, and I would love to be able to buy like recently I saw like a 800 millimeter build volume printer, or just like one of the giant printers, and just build a giant TPU like robot.
It's like
250 TPU.
Yeah, 250 TPU robot. No, maybe like a 30-pound, like an actual 30-pound robot that is out of TPU, and just see kind of like what the limits are on that. Because like right now, some of the limitations that we've been seeing with like these robots is that you have to really support your motors well, because if you don't have that support in there, the TPU squishes so much that it doesn't really drive straight and stuff. So you have to make sure you have the bearings and everything to keep the wheels straight. But I would love to see what I could push with these robots. And also I would love to keep playing on the joke that if you notice, all these robots kind of look a little bit the same. And that's because Ethan, I don't know how to say his last name, but he designed the little robot down here to be used as a mini bot for Team Defective for Zach. And then he gave us the files and he made everybody kind of like their own little version of it. And so this one is Honey Drop, and it's the black and yellow one for Honeycracked. And then I took the file and I made a big version, which is actually, you could see it in the May competition with Aerostar's mini bot, which was called Concord. And so that was just another one of these robots scaled up a little bit. And then Fry's is even scaled up version of that. And then this purple one down here is kind of like a surprise robot. It's not really competing in the bracket in June, but it's in the I signed it up for the freestyle, and Zach from Hedda will be driving it. And it is called Maddie Miser, because these are Maddie robots, and I'm just enjoying kind of creating all different kinds of robots that are Maddie variations. And so the next one in line is in August I have a one that's a vert Maddie called Violacia that is a vertical TPU robot, and then I would love to bring it to the 30-pound weight class.
Well, that sounds pretty awesome. It's funny because when I asked you what you would build, in my mind, I was thinking like a bot that is a literal bee. I don't know how that would work, but I think that would be a lot of fun as well.
Why?
It has to at least have one of the like quadcopter mini bots that flies around. Really just like a swarm, you know?
Yep. The bee robot's gotta fly, you know. No one's taking it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And actually, one other thing that I wanted to ask you, Zoe, because I'm sure that it was an interesting experience, but I know that you got to go to BattleBots this past season. What did you see anything there that you learned that maybe you didn't know before, like any takeaways from that experience to bring back with you to NHRL?
Well, so mostly what I learned is that I really like the little robots. BattleBots is kind of stressful, but it's a lot of fun, and it really being on Team Mammoth is a lot of fun, and just the team vibe. I don't think I learned really anything new. I did talk to a lot of people to kind of see what they were doing with their large robots, but not really a ton that would help me with the smaller ones. Mostly what I learned is, or not, I guess learned, but gained from it is I met a lot more people, and now when I go to NHRL, there's a lot more people I know there. And I was actually surprised that there was just a ton of people I already knew from NHRL who go to BattleBots. And it was overall just a great experience. Cody is on Team Mammoth also. He's the weapon operator. And so just being able for him and I to go and do that and have that experience was a ton of fun. And I'm glad I get to bring kind of like that experience back to my team.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, I really thought that it was extra cool to see NHRL representation in like the final 4 teams in the whole tournament. I just thought that
Yeah.
that was so awesome to see that, because it just shows, like, for people that don't watch the Norwalk streams, like they really should, because there's lots of people doing really cool things at that level, and you know, they deserve that recognition as well.
Yeah, I think it's really cool with Team Huge. They have all the people on their team like have built variations of the huge style robot, and that's awesome. Just like, oh, he has this version of Huge at NHRL, and he has this version of Huge at NHRL, and he just found them all and brought them onto the team.
It terrorized all the weight classes.
Yeah.
We all have to deal with it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's great. I mean, like, just the level of innovation, I think, is so cool, and I'm so excited for this next event and to, you know, see what all of you do. I'll certainly be rooting for your bots, and yeah, is there, besides, you know, besides the June event, obviously, is there anything else like kind of cool or in the works that the team has going on?
Well,
Well, we're getting a test box.
oh yeah. So NHRL last year at finals, we got a donation from NHRL because Chris with Yobnal got second place in the 12-pound bracket, and so he made an agreement with the other team that actually won, in that they would split no matter who won. And so we've actually been able to use that money to really build up our combat team. And one of the big things that we're doing is we're getting a new arena. So we're getting an arena that we can put 12 and 30-pound robots in. Of course, if it can, you know, handle 12s and 30s, we can put our 3-pound robots and our little ant weight robots in there. But we're making it so it's expandable, so we can have a test box sized one. Or if we're hosting an event, or say like we want to have like a little scrimmage with UMD, who's like 2 hours from here, the Leatherbacks or whatever, we can invite them, make the cage bigger, and they can test out any 12s or 30s or whatever robots they have, and we can fully test our robots. Because that's one thing we've been struggling with, is that a lot of our larger robots, we can't really drive them and test the weapons at the same time and see how they feel when you're driving around. So like Honey Shock last year had a lot of gyroscopic issues when trying to just kind of drive, and he didn't know that because he couldn't test the robot properly, like drive and run the weapon at the same time. So once we get that arena set up this summer, we should be able to improve our skills and iterate a whole lot quicker, because we can actually run through tests and we don't have to wait until we're at an event to kind of understand how our robots are fully working.
That is awesome. Well, that should be very helpful to you. But yeah, that's super cool, and can't wait till this next event. But you know, I really appreciate all of you coming on the show. I think what you're doing is amazing. And for all those that are watching, please make sure that if you haven't already, that you subscribe, like this video, comment, share, all of that good stuff. And of course, keep supporting combat robotics. And we'll see everybody next time on the show.
Yeah.